For centuries, people brushed off stories of sea serpents, mermaids, and werewolves as just tall tales or superstition. But what if these legends weren't fiction? What if they were truths our ancestors couldn't quite wrap their heads around? These 7 mystical creatures might not belong in fairy tales. They could be part of our forgotten history. Number 7. Huma. Imagine a bird that never lands, soaring through the sky day and night, too sacred to touch the ground. That's the Huma, a creature from Persian legend, woven into Sufi poetry, Ottoman tales, and Indian royalty. Some say it has no legs, its body split into male and female halves, each with one wing, flying in perfect unity. It glides endlessly, too high to see, too divine to catch. What makes the Huma special? Its touch brings luck. If its shadow brushes your face, you're blessed with lifelong happiness. If it lands on your head, you're destined to rule. Ancient rulers in India and Persia believed their turban feathers came from the Huma, a sign of divine favor, but harming one. A Quora user put it bluntly: try to capture or kill it, and you'll die in 40 days, like a phoenix. The Huma might burn to ash every few centuries, only to rise again. Its name, tied to blessed in Persian and fire in Sanskrit, fits its shimmering feathers blues, greens, golds, and reds that shift like sunlight on water. With a long neck, powerful wings, and wise eyes, it feels like it belongs to another world. If you ever feel a strange warmth from the sky, or a shadow flits across your shoulder, maybe the Huma just passed by. Number 6. Nixie. In old Scandinavian folklore, lakes and rivers weren't just water, they were alive with spirits. The Nixie was one of the most feared, also called Nak or Neck. This mermaid-like spirit didn't always look the part. Sometimes she appeared as a beautiful woman with dripping hair, pale skin, and unblinking eyes. Other times, she was a quiet white horse grazing by the water's edge. But she was always alone, always near water. A Reddit user from Norway remembered a childhood warning: don't go near the water alone, especially at night, or the Nixie will drag you under. She doesn't chase or scream, she sings. Her soft, haunting melody draws you in. You stop, you walk, and before you know it, you're wading into the water. That's when she pulls you down. Some tales say she'll teach you to play eerie music, especially on the violin, but only for a price gold, your voice, or your life if your offering's not good enough. One story tells of a man who fell in love with a Nixie. A Reddit user shared. He wasn't lured, he chose her. He tied himself to her with a golden rope so she'd never leave. Now they say he plays her music from under the water, trapped forever. Some believe Nixies are spirits of the drowned, cursed to take others with them. Others think they're older than the forests, feeding on the souls of wanderers. Even now, hikers in Germany, Norway, and Sweden hear sourceless music near rivers or see pale figures in the fall. Some never come back. So, if you hear a soft tune by a riverbank on a misty night, don't stop. Just keep walking. Number 5. Centaur. Remember Firenze? The silver-haired centaur from Harry Potter. Half man, half horse, wise and living deep in the forbidden forest. Centaurs pop up everywhere. Chronicles of Narnia. Percy Jackson. The Witcher. In ancient legends, they roamed wild forests and mountains, far from cities. Most were rowdy, loving to drink, fight, and cause chaos. One famous story has them crashing a wedding, trying to steal the bride, and sparking a huge brawl with humans. But not all centaurs were trouble. Chiron was wise, kind, and a healer, mentoring Greek heroes like Achilles. The gods respected him so much they turned him into the Sagittarius constellation after his death. Here's where it gets weird. In 1876, archaeologists in Volos, Greece, reportedly found a skeleton with a human ribcage fused to a horse's lower body. Skeptics called it a hoax to skeletons buried together, but the bones looked natural, with no signs of tampering. The center of Volos is now in a private museum, off limits to most, but photos still float around online, fueling debates. One Reddit user joked, imagine the back pain with 2 sets of lungs and a horse's spine? Hoax or not, the centaur myth keeps galloping back into our world. Number 4. Moby Dick. At first glance, Moby Dick seems like just a whale, but this wasn't your average sea creature. It was a massive albino spur whale with a mind of its own and a thirst for vengeance. The legend kicked off in 1820 when a real whaling ship, the Essex, got wrecked in the Pacific Ocean. A huge white whale didn't just bump the ship, it rammed it twice with chilling purpose. The ship sank, leaving sailors stranded.
and some swear the whale lingered until it was sure the job was done. This wasn't your typical whale.
Sperm whales have the largest brains on Earth, 5 times bigger than a human's. Marine biologists say they pass down knowledge across generations and hunt in the deep sea with almost military precision. Some even think they can hold grudges. So, when that white whale circled back for another hit, was it just instinct or was it payback? It's not just the Essex story either.
In 1825, a 60-foot whale washed up on England's east coast, drawing crowds who couldn't believe their eyes. A local doctor dissected it right there, one of the earliest recorded studies of a sperm whale.
It was like the legend was coming to life.
Years later, that real-life horror inspired Herman Melville's novel Moby Dick. In the book, the whale's massive, its spout twisted, its head scarred, and its eyes seemed to pierce your soul.
The novel bombed at first, but later became a cult classic.
On Reddit, people still pick it apart like it's gospel.
One user wrote, "It's a story about obsession driving you to madness. I've been like Captain Ahab, chasing truth instead of a whale. That the story might be fiction."
But some swear the beast itself was real. Number 3. Kitsune, if you've seen Kung Fu Panda 4.
You know Jen, the sly fox who steals and slips away before anyone can catch her. Now imagine her with the chameleon's powers shapeshifting, mimicking voices, vanishing in plain sight. That's the kitsune from Japanese folklore. These aren't ordinary foxes. They're ancient, cunning, and always watching. Kitsunes start as regular foxes, but as they age, sometimes over centuries, they grow more tails, up to 9.
The more tails, the more powerful they are, able to bend reality itself.
Their scariest trick:
shapeshifting into humans, not just anyone, but your MOM, your best friend, or even you.
They don't just look the part, they know how you talk, act, and think. By the time you realize it's not them, it's too late. Some kitsune play pranks or teach lessons, but others are darker. They might seduce travelers, marry into families, and live among humans for years, slowly draining their life force. They can also conjure foxfire, blue flames, or lightning sparked by their tails.
Even today, people in Japan report kitsune sightings. Strangers who know too much or a glimpse of something shifting in a reflection.
One Reddit user shared a weird story after visiting Fushimi Nari Shrine in Kyoto, a place tied to kitsune spirits.
After leaving a small offering at a fox shrine, he felt lighter and stopped getting lost in the city.
Some say kitsune protect sacred places or punish the wicked.
Others call them spies for the gods.
But everyone agrees, cross a kitsune, and you won't see them coming. Number 2. Indrik. The Indrik isn't your typical beast.
It doesn't haunt villages or lurk in shadows.
It lives alone on the holy mountain, a sacred place no other creature dares tread. In Russian folklore, especially in the medieval Book of Doves, the Indrik is the father of all beasts. Its name, sometimes Indra,
Vindrik, or Yedniroktyis to the Russian word for unicorn.
But this is no ordinary unicorn. Picture a massive creature with deer legs, a horse's head, and either a spiraled horn or branching antlers. Its leaps shake the earth, but it brings no harm. Instead, it pierces stone to create fresh springs. Its home, often linked to Mount Tabor or Mount Athos in Eastern Christian tradition, is sacred. Legends say the Indrik drinks from the blue sea and walks through the underworld like the sun crosses the sky. It's a noble guardian, a mystical steed. If you feel the ground rumble near a quiet mountain, it might just be the Indrik, still carving paths through stone. Number 1. Jormungandr. You know that old phone game where the snake grows longer until it bites its own tail?
That's no random idea, it's Jormungandr, the Norse serpent so massive it wraps around the entire earth, holding its tail in its mouth. Son of Loki, brother to Hel,
Queen of the dead, and Fenrir, the wolf fated to kill Odin.
Jormungandr was cast into the ocean, where he grew to encircle the world. He doesn't just sleep under the waves, he waits.
Norse prophecy says when Jormungandr releases his tail, Ragnarok begins, the end of everything. He'll rise, spewing venom, shaking the earth, flooding shores, and battling Thor himself for centuries. Sailors in Norway and Iceland swore they saw a massive serpent in the water.
In the 1800s, entire towns claimed to spot a creature as long as a village, vanishing beneath the waves. Today, Jormungandr lives on in games like God of War and Assassin's Creed, but the real terror,
the thought that something might be coiling around us right now, waiting. Please like my video and subscribe for more mythical creature videos.
Thanks for watching.